pleasantly surprised with how it turned out. It's not perfect, but hey, I'm happy with it, and that's what matters. Good morning guys, I hope everyone is well. It's Saturday for me, so woohoo. Today I'm doing a painting video, as you can probably tell from the title and thumbnail. So today I'm following a Bob Ross tutorial, and if you don't know who Bob Ross is, do some research, because you've been living under a rock. Bob Ross uses oil paints. I've followed his tutorial, like a tutorial before, and an oil paint that was pretty good considering I had not used oil paint very much, and I also used some of his tips for my portfolio 2 years ago, so he's the man. But I thought what an interesting thing would be is to follow his tutorial but do it digitally. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting, especially because, you know, you've got, I mean, they're two quite different things. You have oil paints and then you've got digital, you've got a screen and an Apple Pencil. Like, you can't really mix colours necessarily on digital, really, but you can obviously if you're working with paint. So there's definitely some differences, and he also has all these different brushes. I have all these different brushes, but I don't have the brushes that he is using, obviously, that are going to leave the same texture and effect and everything. But that's okay. We're here for an experiment. I want to see how well I'm going to do. So today we are following the Campfire, Bob Ross Campfire, Season 3, Episode 10. Yes, and we just off his YouTube channel. For this, I'm using my iPad Air 4th Gen with the 2nd Gen Apple Pencil. So the software I'm using is Procreate, and I'm just going to be using the airbrushes, and I'm probably just going to be using the soft brush, the medium brush, and possibly the hard brush. I'm not sure if I might like do different ones too to get texture or something, but those are the main 3 that I'll stick to for today. And I've also sort of gone in and added some colours to a colour palette. Yeah, he has a square canvas, but I'm just going to do an A4 but have a horizontal. I reckon we should get started. Yes.
Let's go. Let's start out with cad yellow on the 1-inch brush and decide where you want the little campfire to be here. And we'll start, let's put it right there, and just start making little X's or crisscross strokes and working around. There we go. And just let this go. Go all the way out to the edges of the canvas. Even if you can't see anything happening, let it go. Because little things are happening. It's picking up the color. There. Just all the way out. Just these little crisscross X-type strokes. There. Now clean this brush up and we're ready to get serious with this. Okay, with a large brush, I'm just going to begin blending this out. There. Just very gently, still making the little crisscross strokes. Working outward. You don't want to bring a dirty brush back to the center. Don't want to ruin the beautiful bright color you have right there. Okay. And then very gently we take the brush strokes out just by going across the canvas.
Yeah, I think that's about it. Alright, X's and crisscross strokes. We don't have that. I'm going to go in with the soft blend. And he's got it sort of like, oh wait, where does he have it? He's got it sort of like heading on the rule of thirds, so about there. So I'm going to probably keep the brush at 8%. And what's the opacity there? Maybe I'll turn that up just a little bit. And I'm just going to be pressing really lightly. Probably do about 40. Because you're starting to get some oranges. So because of that, I'm going to have to come in and I'm going to have to grab some orange myself instead of it just naturally working in. It's a bit more red. And of course his is looking more blended, so I'm probably just going to end up going in smudge. Oh, doing that like so, and just work it all in together. I'm liking this. This is looking kind of crazy, but I think I want to bring some of that yellow out in here just a bit because it's quite blocky. Cool. Let's see what's next.
Let's take the fan brush. We'll put some Van Dyke brown on it and a little bit of crimson. Van Dyke brown, touch of crimson. Just mix them on the brush. And maybe way back here in the distance, we can just see the trunks of some trees and just let them sort of disappear. These are just some little trees in the background. Just sort of let them disappear. Maybe right here, maybe there's a bigger one. So we just push a little harder and just let it disappear. Just far away. All kinds of little things happening. There we are. Let's take a 1-inch brush and we'll put Van Dyke brown and alizarin crimson on the 1-inch brush, loaded full of paint, and we can begin applying some little leaves back here. And all we're doing is just touching the canvas, bending the brush a little bit. All we're looking for is just very basic, gentle shapes. We're not looking for a lot of detail. These are just little background trees that are far away. So just wherever you think there might be some leaves, just drop them in. Don't really spend a lot of time worried about it. And let's add a little bit, then just a tiny bit here. A little yellow ochre, Indian yellow, mixed together. And we can just highlight some of these where the light's striking them from the fire. And just begin picking out little individual things and drop some little highlights on them here and there. Don't overdo. Keep it quite subdued. A lot of time worrying about them or trying to make them perfect. Just a tiny bit over here. Not as much. Tiniest little bit. Just some indications. There we go.
Okay, he's making some trees. So I'm going to go ahead and create another layer for this. And he's got a sort of reddish brown. It's more so brown on his palette, but when he's putting it through, it's going to pick up the reds because it's oil paints. Third layer and a bit of a brown. I think maybe this. And since it's a tree, it's quite a hardy thing. I'm going to come in with a hard brush. I'm going to turn that opacity down to about 69, 70. Get your mind out of it, got it. And we're going to turn that brush size up to about 16. Is that good? Oh, and that needs to be darker, I think. I'm going to decrease the opacity even more, and we're going to have to get a darker colour, maybe this. Okay, so he's got a bit of a tree coming in here, and we're just going to... Yeah, cool. Like that. This looks like hell. Okay, so now he's got a bit of a green going on. I don't really have green. It's gonna be a murky sort of green. Maybe if we just keep it at this, and I think I'll change to the medium brush for this actually. I'll probably keep it on the same layer. Actually no, I'll do a different layer and then we can merge them if we have to, just in case I make a mistake. I think that would be a good highlight colour for the leaves instead. Okay, so we have, that's cool, we know that. I need, we'll go up here, get a bit of a gross green going on. Alright, now so I know my trees are looking a bit iffy, but that's the beauty about digital art. I mean, I have them on layers so I can go back and I can work at them. I'll probably smudge them a bit and then add texture back in because that's just how I roll, personally. He's blending it all in. Because he's going to do that, I'm just going to come in and I'm going to merge these two layers right now, and I'm going to come in with the smudge and keep it on the soft blend. Turn the opacity and the size down and just, well, maybe turn the opacity up a little bit. I think I'm gonna actually go in with a bit of yellow because he's got yellow running through, and I'm gonna keep it on the medium brush. Let's see how it's quite bright, so I'm gonna turn the opacity right down, and I'll probably keep the brush around 2%, just really softly coming. I'll probably also come back and add more volume to the trees.
Now, we can use this big brush and begin adding all kinds of little things that are happening around here. Maybe right in here there's some nice little bushes that are growing. And just drop in some basic shapes. We're not too worried about detail yet. There's one. Just let him fall right off your brush. And maybe as we get farther away here, maybe there's some great big trees that are going to be growing over in here. Great big old ones. Just drop them in. Still using just crimson and Van Dyke brown.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a new layer for this mid-ground area, and he's adding big trees, and they're quite dark. We wanted something just a bit darker. Maybe if we come in here and we just bring that down a little bit, but we want a bit more red to it. And because with his big brush he can get a bit of a texture, so I think I'm going to stick with the medium brush.
Take a little bit of Van Dyke brown, and we'll just make some little indications of some wood here. And it's all burnt. It could be just about any old way that you want it. There. And then maybe there's some ground area right down through here that we can see. Still Van Dyke brown. And just pull it across. Just pull it. Now, take a little bit of yellow ochre and burnt umber mixed together. And we can put a little bit of highlight right out here.
Okay, so now he's coming and he's making a bit of creating more the story of this campfire. Van Dyke brown, which is a very dark brown. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to bring this close to the black side. I'm gonna go up here, gonna add another layer and come back and find that nice dark harsh brown. He's using the palette knife. I'm gonna come in with a hard airbrush. I seem to have quite a big fire. Just do that. Yeah, I think that actually looks pretty cool. Got a bit of a path going, so I'm gonna take down the opacity. Actually, I'm gonna change brushes and I'm gonna go to the medium brush. I'm just gonna actually keep that all the way up. I'm just gonna come in here, bit of a path. Okay, so now he's going in with a bit of a highlight, and I might take this colour but give it a bit more orangey muddy type thing going on, because he's using the palette knife. And I might use this hard brush. I might then go in with a smudge brush, with a smudge in tool. Actually, I might change it to this hard brush too. Just turn that down. I think that looks a bit better. I haven't scaled this very well. I think I'm going to come in and I'm going to take this section here and I'm going to bring it all the way up here, and then this section can stay where it is. And I'm going to come back to these trees and I'm actually going to make them a little bigger and more stretched out, like so. Because I've moved this, I'm going to bring some of this colour here down just a little bit and make sure I have the right colour. Awesome. So I'm going to go back to this layer and I'm going to come back and take that colour and I'm going to go in with my medium brush. I'm going to have the opacity down, and he's kind of making a bit of a you know, a curve in the land. And at the moment my painting is quite flat and it doesn't have, because it's outdoors, it's in the woods, it looks almost like you're walking up a bit of a hill to get to this fireplace. So I'm going to maybe turn this opacity up a little bit and the brush size down and then I might come in with a smudge and just smudge it.
Now, tell you what, let's put a little fire right here. I'm just using a little bit of cad yellow and just touch and just give the indication of a little bit of fire. A little small campfire. There we go.
Now he's coming in and he's adding to the fire. I think I'm going to create another layer. And I'm going to change from the hard brush. And I'm going to go to the medium brush instead. Turn the opacity up, turn the brush size up a little bit more. And just neat little like so.
Now, take the fan brush and we'll use a little bit of the yellow ochre, Indian yellow, and permanent red all mixed together on the fan brush, and mix them on the brush, and we can begin laying in some little grassy areas here, a little bit brighter up here by the fire. So start at the brightest area and work downward. I want these to be very soft, just where the light's striking them. Get darker, darker, darker. There, dark up here.
Okay, so what he's doing is he's creating more texture, he's creating a grassy. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to create another layer. To create the texture, I'm going to use a textured brush. I'm going to use wild grass. But I'm going to create a base colour where I'm going to put the wildgrass. So I'm going to probably darken this colour then. Bring it more to the orangey red. And I'm going to instead come to the airbrush, and I'm just going to use this medium brush. Turn the opacity down a little bit. Yeah. Maybe I'll make that even darker. And I'm going to probably turn the opacity down even more. Turn it up a little bit. And just come in here. Then I'm going to add another layer on top of that, and then I'm going to go back to my organic and choose my wild grass.
I know what we should do. Maybe this is a little lake out here. Little, you know, if you're going to build a little campfire, you need to have water close by. So we put a little cad yellow on the large brush, go right here, touch, and pull straight down. Okay, just a little, touch, pull straight down. And it's going to pick up the crimson that's underneath and turn a beautiful reddish color. Work from the lightest area, which would be directly under the fire, out. That way, automatically, as you go away from the fire, it gets darker and darker.
Now old mate's going and he's making a body of water. So with how my canvas is set up now, I'm going to have to adjust some things really, really quickly, just to be able to fit it in without making it the whole composition seem really cramped and everything, and there's like no depth where we want to keep some of this depth we have created. But I'm gonna come up and I'm just gonna slightly move that path up a little bit and then take the fire up along with it too, and then the grass can move up. Now I'm going to create another layer. I'm going to stay on the medium brush, and I'm going to take this, the same yellow here, and I'm just going to increase opacity and decrease brush size. Just got it right in here, the lightest, as he has said, right under the fire. So just take that, and then I'm going to take some of this, increase this brush size just a little bit. Okay, so he's created a bit of an outcrop tree and a little human being. I think I might create a bit of an outcrop, but I don't think I'll put a tree in just because how hectic, it's not really hectic, but like how much is in my canvas and the space that I have. There's not really a space to put a little human. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go in and I'm going to clean up all of this and show you the finished product. So let's get to it. I think I'm finished. It was certainly interesting, mainly because I can't create the same, well, I probably could. It's harder to create the same textures as him with his brushes, especially when I still haven't fully explored the potential of all these brushes on Procreate. But I think it turned out pretty good from copying an oil painting tutorial and like recreating it as a digital piece. Pleasantly surprised with how it turned out. It's not perfect, but hey, I'm happy with it and that's what matters. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below if you want me to do anything more like this. I probably will anyway, because like I really enjoyed myself. With that, I hope you guys have a good day, good night, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
So let's put a signature right about here. And there comes a time when you can just absolutely piddle a painting to death. Okay, there we are. And we have that one all signed.